Okay, now let's make a nice map to present this result. So let's go down here to the layout view. So then we'll see the piece of paper. Looks to me like this might look a little bit better if the page is oriented landscape wise, so should be able to find that here. Okay, yeah, so here under page and print setup, we want to actually really do the map page size here. Click on landscape there. This one, paper doesn't quite have the effect unless you use paper settings. So then you want to resize the window to our data. So let's get a little more real estate here. And then let's zoom in, kind of get things nice and tidy. Just covering our area of the map. And one important thing to see is get rid of 3D Analyst, but when we went to the layout view, we get this layout toolbar. And remember, these are kind of what you would use to interact with a piece of paper, which are different. These zoom, for example, is different than what the traditional magnifying glasses are, which is the data itself. And you can think of this as a little window into our data. So we've got a pretty good zoom here. Let's do a quick insert. Let's get the north arrow in there. And let's get insert our scale bar. Nice and simple. Check the properties. Meters is probably okay. That doesn't want to go to 1,000, but sometimes it'll get to 1,000 meters. And then the most challenging thing in a way is the legend. So let's do that. So insert legend, and the way this works is what is on the left is all the map layers, what's on the right is items that would be in the legend, which are in this case really just what's visible. So we don't really need we don't want the hill shade to be in our legend because it's self-evident that that's just the shade. So you click on that and you push this left arrow and that will keep things. If you wanted to add some of these other elements, you would click on a right arrow to push it over to the legend items. But we're good with the erosion rate. So then let's say OK. Now I tend to prefer to call this explanation rather than legend. Keep the border legend frame the same. Legend items. Okay, so it's pretty good. Let's do a few changes. So first thing is properties. Let's take the frame and make the background white so we can see a bit better what's in there. And the items, if we click there and we click on style, we can do properties, and we don't really need to show the heading, which is that value word there. That's just totally redundant. And so it makes it a little bit easier in a way that even having explanation is redundant because we only have one item. So let's actually get rid of it. There. So erosion rate, nice and simple. Now that we've got the basic characteristics set up from legend properties, we need to go to the entry over here in the table of contents and go to properties there, go to symbology, and here is where we can edit these labels. And so what I would say is 10 to the minus 10 is close enough to 0, and this value here, the maximum, is close enough to 0.0001 that we can just call it that. So it just gives us a nice sort of simpler label, given that this is really just going to be viewed in a kind of qualitative sense. So it doesn't have, the labels don't have to be precise, because remember you could identify or do cross sections to get the quantities. So it's not changing the values, just changing the labels. So now when we say apply, get a much tidier legend entry. So let's get that guy and maybe put it. One thing we can do is put some text in here, which we can say this is the erosion rate map at the Salt Verde River confluence since Mesa Terrace time 400K. And so once you do that, then if you double click on that, you can change the symbol. It's somewhat annoying, the editing way, but for these text blocks, but we can say, sorry, 20 point font, maybe make it bold and italic. Say OK, apply, change size again, let's go to 18. Okay. And actually here it might be good to make it white. So change symbol, we'll change the color of the text to white. We want to export this as a PDF, and we're done.